right, so let's start. Hoping that a few more people will join this webinar. So welcome everyone to the Partner Update series. So initially, this session was supposed to be an open classroom. We only had one topic that has been submitted, and thank you very much for this topic. It was actually something that we plan to cover in the Partner Update product update webinar that is going to be scheduled very soon. Fortunately, I should say, the topic of the day is more going to cover very interesting and exciting news that we recently had through the Foster Wave report. So our marketing team is going to speak to you a little bit more about this exciting news and how you can use it to your own and best benefit. Just a couple of things before to kick it off. A few reminders, I would say. So tomorrow there will be a webinar on integrated system management for hardware and software engineering. The next webinar of the Partner Update series is going to be next week, and the topic will be an introduction to ECAD connectors. So with that, I will give the mic to the marketing team. So Jason, Erica, and Kylie, the mic is yours.
Thank you, Guillaume. Let's go to the next slide. So the big thing we wanted to cover up today, if you haven't already heard, is that we are a PLM leader. And Eric, I think if you push the next button, yeah. So recently, the Forrester, an analyst firm that we have a relationship with, released their product lifecycle management wave, which compares the competitive vendors in a number of categories, and we were categorized as a leader. And now we had a presentation we gave internally to the ARIS organization about 2 weeks ago, and we wanted to do the same with the partners. And the reason why is the partner community was a big reason why we are a leader. Without your support, without your work with customers, we wouldn't be able to reflect as well as we did in this wave. So we wanted to first thank you for continuing to be partners with ARIS. And we wanted to use the rest of the time to talk through the report itself, some of the key takeaways, and then also some opportunities on how you could use the wave in your selling and marketing engagements. So next slide, Erica. And so first and foremost, we wanted to just go through what it is. What is that PLM wave? And as I mentioned, it's an independent research report created by Forrester, who is a global analyst firm covering a number of topics, including PLM. And they're really good at doing surveys, looking at market trends, technology trends in a number of categories. And our relationship is predominantly focused with their PLM practice, which is run by George Lowry, who we've been talking with for a number of years, and then have gone through this report cycle with them a couple of times already. And what it is it looks at a number of PLM vendors, sometimes working actively. So in this case, we worked actively with Forrester, filled out a survey, a comprehensive questionnaire, if you will, where we had to do a write-up on a number of categories based on our current offering, our strategy and our innovation behind that strategy, our organizational structure, revenue, as well as our market presence. So how many customers do we have? What does our partner ecosystem look like? And they looked at 10 vendors. There were some vendors that didn't participate. And then some they looked at, there's some that didn't participate and they didn't show up in the report. And there's some that didn't participate, but they looked at them, through their website and general understanding, and they ranked them. But more importantly, for the leaders, which includes Dassault, PTC, and Siemens and Aras, we all actively participated. It was a clear evaluation and showing our leadership. In addition to that interview or question and answer we filled out, we also had to supply customers that analysts talk to directly. In this case, we used BAE and Airbus to help us support that. So we're very thankful for those customers that were willing to support this engagement. And then that criteria that I mentioned earlier is typically measured with a 0, 1, 3, or a 5, 0 being weak, 5 being strong. And we're a leader in a number of categories, which I'll talk about in a minute. And the good news is this report lasts for 2 years. They typically do this report every 2 years. So for the next 2 years, Aras will show up on this graphic as a leader, and it's used by organizations to look at the PLM landscape, understand it, understand some of the current offerings the vendors have based on the version that was evaluated, so that they can understand in a comprehensive manner how each vendor stacks up and what are the spotlights of their solution. So go to the next slide, Erica. And so for Aras, we're back in the leadership quadrant. Back in 2017, it was a couple of us participated and the entire organization helped. In 2017, we became a leader. 2021, we were a strong performer, and now we're back in the leadership quadrant. And then on the left-hand side, you see an arrow where Aras landed in that leadership quadrant. And how we're recognized is through that offering. So the strength of our overall Aras Innovator platform as compared to a number of categories, our strategy, and market presence. And market presence is denoted by the size of your circle, as you will. So we're clearly an up and comer. We continue to enlarge our market presence every year and slowly catch up to the bigger vendors in this space, but it's all good news. We're considered the big four. So instead of there being big three, there's 4 of us, and it gives us a seat at the table to compete with PTC, Siemens, and Dassault. We continue to creep closer to Dassault Systems, which sort of is hovering in their same spot in this wave. And then PTC and Siemens have over the years been, kind of one and the same. Like they have very similar offerings, breadth of solutions that are disconnected, but they've acquired a lot of solutions over time. And so those two seem to be neck and neck when they were evaluated this year. The other thing we wanted to convey is there's a clear separation with some of the SMB PLM vendors that we've been a little bit more each year engaged with in competition, but they're not as good. They have sort of a weak footprint and solution capability, if you will, and a difficulty solving complex use cases. So that's where our differentiation separates. And you can see here down, that it's typically Autodesk Propel and PTC Arena that we're up against. I know there's others out there like Contact, which is kind of localized in Germany, but still expanding over time. But we can use this report both ways to show we're, deserve a seat at the table at the more enterprise PLM solutions, as well as a differentiating view when comparing if someone's more oriented towards an SMB size customer, how we can pull away and are a leader as compared to those. One final thing, there were, like I mentioned, some vendors that didn't participate. SAP, we kind of wonder, we've seen a lot of market announcements and development of their PLM solution, even though they are partnered with Siemens. So it seemed a little bit strange to us that they wouldn't continue to participate. I know the last time that they were in this, they got dinged pretty hard because they gave a customer to interview that was no longer a customer. So there might be a little bit of organizational issues at SAP trying to coordinate efforts with analysts. That's our thinking. Oracle didn't participate at all. The good news is that we have some marketing and sales content ready to go to help anyone, including partners that want to engage in a customer using A6 or A9, to replace them with the Aeris Innovator solution. So I'm not sure if you're aware of that. I just wanted to spotlight that. If you are, we can certainly engage with you and create and share those materials as needed. Next slide. And so there were actually 6 areas where we scored a 5. These were the 3 we wanted to focus in on and let you know about. But there's 3 others I also wanted to mention as well. So one of the interesting things was we're a leader in green PLM, which is really a hot topic over the last 18 months, whether that's trying to create compliance reports, CO2 footprint, understanding and aligning to an organization makes ESG goals. And so we can use this report showing our green PLM leadership to establish that we should be someone you talk to when you're looking at trying to solve some complex business problems related to sustainability or ESG. Performance was another one. We scored a 5 because of our growth rate, our expansion of customers, our growing partner network. And then finally, our innovation roadmap, which is, think of that as the future, like where is Aeris Innovator going in the future, using our public roadmap, which is rare in the PLM space, having that conveyed out there in the world, as well as how we're spending our money, the percentage of spend towards product, the moving to the SaaS capabilities with Aeris Enterprise SaaS, all allowed us to score very high. A couple other areas I wanted to talk about were we scored a 5 in our digital thread capabilities, which is great because that's been our strategy for the last 20 years to build a platform capable of supporting a digital thread across the product lifecycle. The other 2 were related to our systems thinking messaging that we've had for the last 2 years. One was around our ability to manage requirements and ideation. So think of the systems architecture application and RE and variant. And then the good news is they also looked at variant management separately this year, and we scored a 5 in that as well. So that's really good news for our product direction and the investments we're making in applications in that area. And I think with that, I'm going to turn it over to Erica.
Yes, thank you, Jason. So my name is Erica Schumann. I'm part of the marketing programs team, and I help support Guillaume to get you the materials that you need from our side here. So I just want to talk through real quick on this slide here, what we've made available for you to use on this. I do want to note for any of the materials that we have, Kylie next is going to talk about kind of the rules around using Forrester. So please make sure that you're following these rules as you're using this. But we did do on the announcement a few weeks ago, we had press releases in every language that we have offices in. So you can see all of those in there. We also had a number of social media posts. So hopefully you guys were able to see that. We ask that you repost it. And again, you can reshare that into your network to let your prospects and customers know that they are, of course, using a leader in the PLM space. In addition, if you go into the partner portal right now and look in the upper right-hand corner, there is a what's new in there and a message from Guillaume that's talking about this announcement. In there, we have a number of links for you. So the first is for an email draft that you can use, and it's already been distributed. It says it will be distributed on Thursday, but it already is available for you that you can use for your prospects, things around that to really push out that. It's written to be from a salesperson, so you don't have to make any changes from there. We also have a landing page that there's a link in there that you can drive the audience to that's talking about all these things that we're talking about. We do not have access to the report, but we can then talk through everything that you saw here. And then we also have a slide for you to add to your pitch presentations for prospects, as well as email signatures if you want to add that into your signature when talking to prospects on your side. So again, you can find all of this information in the partner portal in the upper right-hand corner of the What's New. And we can, I believe, link to that from this presentation and the recording, so you guys can find it there. And I think with that, I'm going to hand it over to Kylie to go through kind of the rules of working with Forrester material.
Thanks, Erica. Hi, everyone. I'm Kylie, Corporate Communications Manager. I just want to review some of the do's and don'ts. Forrester has some very strict guidelines around what we can do with the Wave. So starting with what we would like you to do, of course, promote it everywhere. We posted late in March on social media, and we've also written a blog about it since then. So we can send the links directly to those posts, but we encourage you to like, share, comment, and help spread the news about our leadership position. You'll be getting a bunch of links and materials that have been drafted by the marketing team and have been already approved by Forrester. So we encourage you to use those documents and not create anything new. Like I said, they need every single thing that's going out there to be approved, and all of that has already been done. And of course, share this news with your contacts, the customers that you're working with, and drive them to the landing page, which if you don't already have a link to that, you'll get that, to just have them learn a bit more about the news, what it means for ARIS, all of that. And then there's a link in here that goes a little bit more in depth about what Forrester's do's and don'ts guidelines are. So going over to the don't side of things, don't promote or share a picture of the Wave, which I know is the first thing that most people probably want to do. It's sort of just a visual that shows where everyone is compared to everybody else, but it's really important that you don't do that. We also don't have permission to share the report itself, which may be difficult if a customer says, hey, this is great, but can I read the full report? We really can only direct them to the press release and the landing page because, again, we didn't purchase the reprint report. We also ask that you don't create, any new assets, blogs, or anything. We have all these materials for you to utilize, so it's already there for you. And then this last point doesn't really make sense anymore because the news is already out there. So, but if you have any questions at all about what you can and can't do with the materials that you're provided, feel free to contact the comms team. The email is on the bottom of this slide. You can go to the next slide. And then, as Jason mentioned earlier, we wouldn't have, a big part of this is your support. We wouldn't have been able to do this without, of course, the ARIS team internally, but partners also play a big role in this. So we just wanted to make sure that, your work and your effort is recognized here. So we appreciate that. Any other comments from anybody else on this piece?
No, I think that covers it, but thank you everyone for being part of the community and really helping drive this throughout the years and continuing to work with us going forward as we work to stay in this position. And then I don't know if we have any questions.
Yeah, so you can, as usual, if you have any questions, you can put your questions using the Q&A feature of Zoom. So we'll wait for 1 or 2 minutes to check if there is any question. In the meantime, once again, thank you very much for your contribution into this. All kind of partners, whether you are implementing our products with great success, whether you are reselling our ARIS Innovator with also great success, or that you are complementing our solutions through connectors, through vertical solutions, so all kind of ISV solutions. Thank you very, very much. So we have one question. Can we get a copy of the slide? Yes, I don't see anything against that, Jason, Erica. I mean, the slide that we have shared today. Anyway, you will have the recording as usual on the partner portal through the partner update, so I can attach the slide deck.
Yeah, I don't see that as an issue. I think they're all labeled confidential, so we're good.
All right. Any other question? So it seems not. So thank you very much for your participation. Thank you very much again for your contribution. We wish you all a very good day, and thank you very much, the marketing team, for this webinar.
All right, take care.
Thanks for having us.